Okay, my knie is dood. Hey guys, it's Gunther here from Outdoorphoto. Today we're going to have a look at high-speed sync. We want to demonstrate how you can capture high-speed action shooting at high shutter speeds but still using flash. If you dive into the technical stuff, you'll find that certain cameras have specific flash sync speeds. Typically speaking, your full frame cameras are at 160th of a second, whilst your crop sensors go to about 250th of a second. So what we're using today, we're going to use the Outdoorphoto B1s and a B10 that we've grabbed out of rentals at Outdoorphoto. I've got a TTL trigger on an R5 with a 70-200 choice of weapon that I use. The flash sync speed on this camera is about 180th to 200th of a second. To stay safe, I'm going to be at 160th. What that means is the entire sensor is exposing to light. The flash goes off once and it exposes or adds light onto your sensor in that split second. But as soon as we go faster to capture that action or that motion and freeze it in the moment, then we're going to about 800th of a second. So what we're going to do now is on the trigger itself, it's actually going to, we can set it up on this trigger. Depending on what brand you're shooting, Godox, Outdoorphoto, you name it, they've all got this functionality in them, all the decent triggers. You can hit the trigger to second curtain, or what we're going to do in this specific situation is high speed sync. Generally speaking, we've got one window curtain that's going to open over your sensor. The entire sensor is exposed to light and a second curtain is going to close over it. If you're shooting at higher shutter speeds, it's actually going to open and the second one starts closing before the first one is completely open. So to get enough light or the flash onto the entire sensor, it's going to flash multiple times. The human eye only sees one flash, that's it. But what we're going to do in this specific situation, high-speed syncs activates that functionality, and that flash is still firing at the power level that you set it to, but it's flashing multiple times in a millisecond. So let's hit it and check the results out. So we're going to do high-speed sync right now. We're going to 800th of a second. We're staying at f2.8, and I'm going to push the ISO up to about 400 just to balance things out. We've got a 3-light setup. I've got a Magbox beauty dish on the Outdoorphoto B1 on a boom stand shooting downwards, creating those shadows. It's fitness. We want shadows to really accentuate the physique of these athletes. I've got a strip box, Magbox strip box with a grid on in the background just to give us background separation from the dark background. And then I've got another strip box here to give us another highlight or rim light on the side. So let's check it out. You ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1. That is stellar. Everything's sharp on this image, eyes are sharp, intact, in focus. You've got no motion blur at 800th of a second. So it's exactly what we're looking for. But as you can see in these images, some of them are completely underexposed because these lights, although they are 500 watts per second lights, they are flashing multiple times per millisecond. So you see one flash, but they're flashing multiple times, which means the capacitors in the lights actually still need to be refreshing. They need time to recharge. So with these kinds of sets and shoots, you really need to get your timing right. It's not a hit and run, problem solved, let's go. So let's try one more time. 3, 2, 1. A little bit better timed out, and the results are magnificent. One of the G tips that I'd like to recommend to you is getting a roll of gaffer tape. Get them, we've got them in white, we've got them in black. They don't leave any sticky residue on the floor. But this is a great way for you to mark out exactly where the lights are going to hit. It helps your talents out so much because now I've got a situation where I want them picking up in that direction, but the lighting comes in this direction. So now little bit of gaffer tape on the floor. That's not going to leave a sticky residue, and it just helps us to get them in exactly the right spot where we need them to get those shots. Let's get it done. So looking at lights that are 200 watts per second, like the 80-200 Pros from Godox, or even the B10's 250 watt per second lights, depending on the strength of your lights, you would typically be able to get more out of it. The capacitors recharge faster out of the flashes, and they're able to keep up with that high-speed sync functionality. So there's a limit to all of this. I can add more lights in here, it'll add more light to my shot, and then the single lights don't have to work as hard. So we can even push it up to 8,000th of a second. But typically by the time you get to 8,000th of a second, you're going to be using one shot in that sequence, because the flash has to fire so many times to expose each row of pixels across the image. So let's get a couple more shots before we move on to the next shot. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so one of the shots, obviously the lighting is falling on a specific spot, and I've been able to control that with a Magbox Beauty Dish, which is a phenomenal product, love it. And by simply ripping off that, because it's all magnetic systems, I've got the grid off, which is going to spread out the light a little bit better across my subject. Check this out. So as an added bonus, we're just going to run you through some of the lighting setups that we're doing currently. I've got the Beauty Dish set up as a main light, and then we've got these as full lights, or more commonly, not a full light, a rim light. That is literally going to give us a rim of light on the edge of our subject. On top of that, I've got some bright light coming from the back. So I'm actually going to use an extra light in the back. But the first couple of shots that I'm going to show you now are just with these two main lights focusing on her. 3, 2, 1. So all I want to do is I just want to kind of give us more of that background separation. So I'm going to take this extra light in the back. I'm specifically going to position it right over here to kind of shoot over her head. I'm going to try and hide the frame of the light stand along with these other vertical lines. And then we're going to have this beautiful light flare coming in, similar to the spotlight in the back. In an ideal situation, I would actually like to use a gel or a filter of sorts on that light to give it some color and aesthetic.
Very cool.
Perfect snapshot. So the next thing that we're going to do, we've obviously got the action shots. Now we want to get some detail shots. So we're going to focus everything a little bit closer. We're going to move the lights closer. And we're going to get some detail shots in the gym here. Check this out. We all get tired on shoots. You have to improvise and get the right position to catch a quick power nap. 3, 2, 1. Love the eye, awesome. Okay, thanks guys. So that's just typically getting a couple of close-up shots, some detail shots, getting some action in. As simple as using a water spray bottle in the background just to create something extra into the images. So, everybody in life makes mistakes. This guy as well. Even though I tell people to trust me because I'm a professional, if you have a look at the images, and shame on you if you haven't pointed this out in the comments section below yet, but if you have a look at this image, you'll see there's a white line on the side, like a bright line, and it pretty much flows through all these images. We tried the different syncs on the different lights, we tried the different settings, and eventually, 3/4 of the way through the entire shoot, I realized and remembered I simply had my camera on first curtain electronic. As soon as I switched to full mechanical shutter, that problem, if you have a look over here, boom, disappeared. Brightly exposed line gone. So do double check your settings on your cameras and the compatibility of what your cameras can allow and can't allow when shooting with flash. Guys, let's get back to the video. I think these look great. I want to give a huge shout out to Motive CrossFit Box in Jacqueline, to Catherine, our in-house lappies, and I look forward to bringing some more of this stuff. If you guys have any questions whatsoever about lighting, all these setups, please feel free to hit us up in the comments section below. Check it out. Cheers.